Hey, wow, it's been 3 months since I did a video. Time goes by fast. And in silver and gold, last week we had this very big sudden dip. When I say big in relation to how silver is moving. Because it's still within a, no panic range. Like silver and gold are in a world is not going to end kind of price band. Because if there was going to be economic chaos in either direction, I think we would see silver either nosedive or spike. Silver had a small dip, but I mean, these precious metals are really doomsday metals if you think about it, because they are like an end of an era kind of trade. And that's why people like to hold them for like their insurance. So if there's like a big disruption in the monetary system, they're protecting their wealth. However, if the price of gold and silver kind of don't go anywhere, that's actually a good thing for most people because it means that we're not going to be living in like a world crisis. Now, people might have an individual crisis. In America, a huge percent of the population are in a Great Depression. I mean, the stimulus went to the top. It went to selected areas, like New York, Washington, the financial centers. But many parts of the nation didn't really get the benefit of that. And there's areas of the nation, like the Rust Belt, that are like economically dying. For those areas, yeah, it is a depression. I mean, it is. For like the big urban centers, where the stimulus money went to, not so much. And at the top is having the biggest windfalls ever. The top of the economic food chain, they're just reaping in all of these gains, and a lot of people are not seeing any of these gains, and a lot of people are seeing their actual purchasing power decrease despite all these technological gains. So this is getting back to precious metals. The fact that precious metals are still operating within this band of, I guess, normalcy tells me that the market does not anticipate any kind of economic doomsday. The market probably sees more of the same, and that's what I think. I think we're seeing more of the same. I think that's why in the betting markets, like Hillary's doing so well. And personally, this is what I think. I think that the election is rigged. In fact, I think the elections have been rigged since basically I've been born. And here, I'm gonna point to back up my opinion. So, I think it was very clear that Obama was supposed to get elected like 8 years ago. The media loved him. The pundits loved him. They pushed Obama. No one heard of this guy, a few months, 6 months before the election, no one heard of him. But all of a sudden, Obama is, he's the golden boy and he gets elected twice. And during that time, he was running against Hillary. And Hillary got bashed. Hillary was not the chosen one at the time. Obama was the chosen one. Well, now, Hillary is the chosen one. The powers that be want Hillary in there. But Hillary is hated. So how could they possibly get Hillary in the White House? Well, they got to create a candidate that they can tear up, they can build up and tear down. So this candidate Trump, he blew his way through the Republican primary. He was portrayed as like a strategic genius. Even the people who hated Trump said, man, this guy's doing something brilliant. This guy's, he's picking off the Republicans one by one. He gets the nomination. And then late in the game, all these bombshells emit, and Trump's chance of getting elected is like 17%. I like to use Max and Lot election betting odds. I believe the betting markets are the best predictor of elections because when people put their money where their mouth is, it means more than polls, because in polls anybody can say anything. You can fix polls, but when it comes to betting markets, right, and when there's money on the line, people betting, it's a different ball game. And Trump was up to like 34%, and then after the first debate, it was disappointing. And then this whole thing about him and Billy Bush and their quote locker room talk, which actually what it was really about was him bragging about groping women, and they can't do anything about it. As a billionaire, he says, "Oh, I'm a celebrity. I can do whatever I want." I think that was the real issue because, like, if one of us were to do that, we'd go to jail. Like, if we just went up and grabbed a woman like that, like he said he does, I don't know. And he's bragging about, trying to sleep with a married woman and stuff. And this was not brought out until late in the game. It was like they gave Trump. I mean, the media followed Trump nonstop. They built him up. And at first, their attacks were things that made him look good. Like, if he was anti-establishment, that's a good thing. If he was challenging, the powers that be, that was a good thing. And the media would say, oh, we hate this Trump because he's, and that was actually a positive. But now the attacks that are coming out make him look really bad for everybody. Now, my opinion was they rigged the election. They wanted to have Hillary elected because she's the chosen person for the powers that be. She's the one who will do the bidding of, all the powerful groups in the world. So to get her elected, they got to have someone who pretends to, who looks like the outsider. I mean, Trump is a billionaire playboy trying to be the outsider, right? So they get Trump in to win the hearts of the people who are the ones who want real change. And then they turn the tables and show him as this, playboy guy who's just groping women, who doesn't, it was like a bait and switch. And now Hillary most likely will get elected because no one likes Hillary really, but they're voting for her because of this whole Trump thing. And I think it's just totally rigged. I think that was the plan from the beginning. I think that a decent Republican could have beaten Hillary, so they had the media and the powers that be paved the way for Trump. They get him to a certain point. His popularity was rising, and then they timely released all these bombshells to make him nosedive. And yeah, I think a real candidate who was for the people, someone who was really, would have a really good chance, right? I mean, when Ron Paul was running in 2008, he had tiny support, but he was always a family guy. No one ever attacked his integrity. They would attack Ron Paul on the issues, but he was very consistent. He voted very consistently. There was no surprises. You knew who he was. He was very he followed his word. Ron Paul said he would do this, and he did that. You knew what you're getting. So the attacks on Ron Paul, none were of character because there were no character flaws. It was his politics. You have to attack his politics. With Trump, I mean, it's a different ball game. But yeah, going back to Silver, I think that we're getting more of the same with Hillary because that's what the markets are telling us. The markets have not done anything radical. We might have had a few hiccups in the precious metals. You might have seen a few rallies, but that's on a minor scale. Remember 2009, 10, 11, 12 with the precious metals, how they went way up and way down? That was telling us, in my opinion, about that there was real economic uncertainty in the world. I mean, there was real uncertainty. People would like to dismiss silver and gold as some kind of fad from lunatics, but I mean, the quote lunatics only own so much of this stuff, right? I mean, there are only so many, people on YouTube owning this stuff. There was a real worldwide thing with that market. It was a worldwide market for silver and gold to spike like that. I think that was the world market telling us that there was uncertainty in the monetary system and economic system. And now we have stability. Well, we have more of the same. Like, we have more of the same coming. I think Hillary will be more of the same. And in fact, going back to, like 1992, except for Obama, we've only had Bushes and Clintons in power. I mean, that's like an oligarchy. That's like a royalty thing. We have a fake royalty with Bushes and Clintons in power, except for Obama. Even that Billy Bush guy who was on the thing, that's a Bush nephew / cousin. So really, we're like in an oligarchy / kind of fake monarchy with the Bushes and Clintons in power, with Obama being one of them, if you really think about it. So yeah, I think we're getting more of the same. Now, if the markets turn, I mean, if we see gold or silver do huge up and down gains, then I think that's the barometer of real changes coming from the better or the worse. I think it's more of the same. I think the markets are telling us that, and that's my opinion. So thanks for watching it, and be well. Yeah, and I want the real candidate. I don't want the Trump is kind of like the fake candidate. I want the real one to come along. Thanks, and be well.